Hello and a very good day everyone. So today we will learn on how we can actually transform this particular data set to a fascinating visual. So we do have the list of countries and multiple columns. So we want to actually transform this particular data set into an information where everybody can understand. So let's get started. So first thing is I will open my Power BI and I'll click on the blank report. So once I click on blank report, the next thing is I'll try to click on import data from Excel because the format is in an Excel format. Then I'll just go to the particular file. So in this case, you need to know where you save your file and what format, which folder, and so on. So I'm going to go to this particular file and press open. Then you will notice that another box will appear. So in this particular box, what we need to do is I just want to press transform data. So I'll just tick this box over here and then I'll click transform data so that we can actually have a look on what these particular columns have. It has the list of countries, list of scores, and so on. So right now what I need to do is I need to do some data cleaning, because over here we notice we have Germany, we have West Germany. So what we want to do is we want to clean the data so that it shows a consistent result. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this particular column and then I go to transform and I will try to click on replace. So over here we have replace value and I just want to remove the West. So I'm going right here, West space, and then replace with nothing. I press OK. So once I press OK, so now automatically what you notice is it has been replaced. The next thing is I want to know the total goal scored, and also I just want to know what is the goal margins or the goal difference. So what I'll do is I'll just right click over here, and then the next step is I'll just duplicate the column. So a new column has been formed and I want to separate the results. So what I'll do is I'll just go to split column by delimiter. A box will appear, so we want to split based on this particular symbol over here, a delimiter over here. Then I press OK. So once I press OK, so we do have the score for the winning team and the losing team. So I'll just select these two columns and then I go to add column, I press standard and I press add. So we get to know that number of goals scored in the final, and also we can actually do the same for knowing the difference, the goal margin. So I have to select this column first, followed by this column, standard, under the add column, select, subtract. So just like that, we can know the goal margin, the goal difference scored in the final, and so on. So these two columns I don't want. I want to delete this. This I'll just name as the goal scored. And this one over here, I want to name it as the difference or the goal margin. Goals margin. And then once I'm done, what I want to do is I want to go back to Power BI. So I just press home and close and apply. So once I press close home and close and apply, you will notice it will go back to Power BI, and this is where we will try to create all the visuals whereby we want to understand that which country has won many times and so on. And then what I'll do is I'll try to actually use a DAX measure. Okay, saya akan menggunakan DAX measure. So because the thing is, what is my intention is, just say I put the champion over here and we have the list of champions. We'll pop out all the champions, and then if just say I click here, drag it over here and I put it as the count. So when I count, we will show that okay, this champion has got win 5 times, 1 time, twice. But instead in this format, I want to actually show perhaps maybe in a star format. So what I'm going to do is I'll just remove this, and then the first thing what I'll do is I'll just go to a new measure. Click a new measure. A new measure is something like a formula. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this as a star, and then I'm going to write a formula called REPT. So these will try to actually show a repetitive pattern depending on like a star format or anything. And then I'll use 𝗎𝗎, and here I'll just write 9733 because it will show us in a star format. And then comma, how many times? Well, based on the count. So I'll just count and using the number of times the champion appeared, and close bracket and enter. So now if just say I were to choose in a matrix format, and I'll just take the champion and I take the star, right now we will see in a star format. So this is how we can actually share to our manager. Of course, I can actually amend the cosmetic later. The next thing that what I want to show is basically I want to show how many World Cups are being held, how many times different winners, number of goals scored in the final, and then what is the highest goal margin, and so on. So this is where I'll try to use the card. and I'll just stick it over here. So when you tick here, of course we have multiple categories. I don't want here, I just move to the value and I'll put here as count. So we notice that there are 22 times that this tournament being held. And then next thing is I'll just drag the champion again, but although got 22 times, how many times we have a different winner? So when I just click it over here and I just click on count this thing, so it will count the different winners, and apparently we had 8 different winners or 8 different champions. And then the next thing is I want to know how many goals being scored. So I'll just click on goal scored. So basically got 83 goals scored during the final. And maybe what if they say I want to know who is the highest goal margin. So I'll just tick over here and I click here and I choose maximum. So we get to know the maximum goal difference scored in the final is 3 times. And then if they say I extend, lebarkan, I extend. So of course we have 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you want to see the frequency, which result frequently appear, because over here when I go to table view, we do have all the results here like 4-2, 2-1, 4-2, 4-2 and also 4-2. So technically based on what we understand is we notice that the number 4-2 appear many times. So how we're going to actually put this and appear in the visual? So this is where we'll try to use the next measure. So I'll just go to new measure again and I'll just write here the frequent. Okay, so this is a frequency, or maybe I just put the high frequent. Okay, once I've done high frequent, the next thing is we're going to use max formula. So this max formula, so what I'll do is I'll just try to use this formula over here. So we have this max, top, and so on. So I'll just try to copy this and I'm going to paste it over here, just like that. And then I press enter. So once I press enter and I tick the box, we get to know that the 4-2 is the highest frequency. Okay, so we can amend the cosmetic later, and then I'll just click a simple clustered column chart and I'll choose the final determinant and I'll just put it on the y-axis again. So we get to know that most of the final is concluded at or determined by a normal time. There are just few finals being conducted by extra time and decided by penalties. You can just turn on the data label, and just like that we can then get an understanding. So there are 3 World Cup finals being decided by penalty shootouts. Alright, and then over here what I want to do is I want to just create a table. So what I'll do is I'll click a table, I'll just put the years, and we have the sum of the year. Not like that, I just want to show the don't summarize, so that we have the list of the years and maybe the list of the champions. And then what I'll do is I'll just put the size of 13, and same thing, column header also 13, and the style preset I'll just put as alternating rows. Okay, so there you go. So now we have this and I need to expand. There you go. So basically over this column what we do have is we have the details of the list of the tournament edition and the respective winners. Over here what I want to do is I want to actually expand this, and this is also a cosmetic thing. So I go to format your visual, multi-cut, so you can actually change the coloring. So maybe I'll just change to a green color, so we can go to more colors and you can actually choose green color as well. So maybe I'll just change this green color. Okay, something is alright, and then after that I'll just click here. Okay, so we are good, and yep, there you go. And then I scroll down, I go to cuts, and also I want a darker green, so I'll just go to here and I click these more colors. I'll choose this and maybe a darker color. Alright, so there you go. And what I want to do is, of course we can't see the font, so under the callout we have the font. So value, I'll just put here white color, and I want to center a line. So we have already centered a line, and also under the label I also want to change to white color. Okay, so now it looks better. So we do have like 22 different World Cups, 22 times the number of World Cup being held, 8 different champions, 83 total goals scored, and this is the highest goal margin and so on. So I'll just change the wording. So this one is the World Cups, and over here is we have different champions, and this is the total goal scored, and this is the highest goal margin. Okay, or highest goal margin, and this is the most frequent. Okay, most frequent score. There you go. So now we do have this data over here. So this gives us some insights. And then I just want to actually adjust this visual. Okay, just put it over here. So we have this visual. And this one, what I want to do is, I want to change this as green color. So columns. Over here, I put here green column. Or maybe I'll choose this FX over here. I'll just choose a gradient. And I'll choose a darker green. More colors. And yeah, there over here, and over here I'll choose here more colors. Okay, so when and then press OK. There you go. So we have this coloring of the legend, and then I go to the data labels. Orientation is horizontal, position is inside, and just like that we get to know the numbering and so on, like there are 5 times. And if you say you want to increase the size, maybe I'll increase the size. Instead of 9, I put here 15, so that you can see, okay, this is 3 and so on. But if you just say you don't want difference, you can actually go to your columns over here, and then you can change the coloring accordingly. Alright, so here we have, but maybe I'll just change this. I just put this, remove this, and maybe I'll just choose this green. Okay, so we have this. And then the title, I just want to put a title, and I want to change final determinants. And then I'll just click on center alignment. The size is 20 and black color font. Okay, there you go. So we have this one I don't want, so this falls under the y-axis. So go to y-axis, and I will off the title. If the value I just want to choose as black color as automatic, the same thing on x-axis, this is also black color. Final determinants not necessary since we have that, so what I'll do is I'll off the title as well. Okay, so now there we go. Now this thing over here is, since we have a matrix over here, and I want to actually sort by the numbers, so we get to know that Brazil is the highest. So sort one more time. Okay, there you go. And what I'll do is I'll off the row subtotal, and for the style preset I want to choose minimal. Okay, and values I put here 20. Okay, and then the text color I want to change to gold color. Of course you will have a mixed result, so you need to change the alternate text as well. Okay, so now it looks better. So here what I'll do is I want to put here 20. Okay, so now it looks there. And column header also 20, and then the row header also I want to change to 20. Okay, so this is how you can actually play around. So when I change this, and yep, there you go. So this is how you can decide this. So this is the results, and the next step is you want to actually include the title. So I can just put here the FIFA World Cup historical data, whereby we have 22 World Cups, 8 different champions, 83 times the goals scored in the final, and here we have the highest goal margin, and this is the most frequent score. So this is where we can actually prepare a simple dashboard in our Power BI, so using this World Cup data set.